Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your channel for grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you watching the replay, and welcome to our weekly reading. So I'm going to talk about the astrology of the week ahead. I'll show you the charts on the screen, and we will do an Akashic reading to channel tarot and oracle messages for the week from our spirit guides, angels, and teachers. So if you're new, thank you for being here. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. Please give this video a thumbs up, share it out so that more people can find these messages that are meant to find them. Thank you for being a part of the community. And I want to also invite you to download my free moon astrology guide, which will tell you what your psychic gifts are based off of your moon sign. It also enters you into my email list, and I send out a weekly moon magic report with a horoscope for the week. We also have a private global community, like a private space, like a Facebook type of thing, where we get to connect with each other. I host free events. Right now we are hosting a free event called Sacred Coordinates, The Map, and it's a 4-week mini course. You can join still. There's replays. They've been put up. We've done 2 weeks. Tomorrow is week number 3. And we just had a meeting with Ashley to talk about tomorrow's presentation. And you guys are going to love it, because tomorrow we're talking about devotion. And just that topic and just that word just brings me into my heart space. So we're going to bring that energy into the broadcast tomorrow, the class tomorrow, and we can't wait to see you there. So if you haven't signed up yet, you can still do so. You'll get access again to the replays, and you'll be in our community. And we're going to announce next week a very powerful, amazing program that we have designed to personally guide you through this, what we call healing, embodiment, integration, devotion, and that's next week. So that's been a really fun project that we've been doing and working on. We also just started level 3 of the Moon Goddess training, and I am so excited about diving into reading the Akashic records and doing readings for each other and practicing for each other and stepping into the full embodiment of everything that we have been learning this whole year in the Moon Goddess training. And soon I will be announcing, next year's Moon Goddess training, tentative dates, and opening the registration up, because I know there's a lot of women that are wanting to do this program and wanting to sign up and have been kind of waiting for it. So I'm really excited about that as well. So let us start by looking at the charts. And if there's, any, questions, if you're curious, I'd like to know, actually, for you guys personally, how are you feeling right now? Also, because if I acknowledge what's been going on leading up to today, which we're starting the astrology today, last week was crazy. I mean, oh my God, it's been heavy. It's been emotional. It's been intense. That's where we're at. Like, the collective energy is crazy. We are still in between eclipses. So how are you guys doing with everything that's going on? Hello, Linda. Welcome in. Hello, Raessa. Stick and Stones. Good to see you. Anita is also here. Yes, thank you for asking that. How is the eclipse season treating you all? And hello, Ashley. Welcome in. So let's share the chart on the screen, and this is the chart of right now. So what we're going to do is I'll talk about this chart and what's significant about all the major aspects that are happening throughout the week and why they're important. So first of all, again, we're in the middle of eclipse season. This weekend ends with the second eclipse. I mean, so this is it. Eclipses are times of revolution, times of change. Individually, we feel the eclipses in our own personal lives, the things happening, our own personal experience, relationships, and we also feel it at the level of the collective frequency. So imagine what is happening. One of the things that I have been obviously noticing is how every eclipse season has become more and more like clear that there's something happening, that there's something changing, that we're really entering into a whole new world, and things are speeding up and things are happening at levels that we can't, imagine, at the collective frequency, affecting everyone, the entire planet. It's heightened. We talk about new and full moons as being, moments of like the moon energy being heightened for, the reason for whether it's a full moon, it's heightened emotion, whether it's a new moon, it's like heightened potential, the seed. And eclipses only heighten that even more. So it's been crazy. The other thing I've noticed is that every time it's eclipse season, like the things that are going on both in my personal life and in the collective are so powerful and so intense that they just keep getting crazier and crazier. You're like, oh my God, what's the next eclipse season going to bring? Jeez. It's kind of like that. Hello, Karina. Welcome in. Yeah, been intense moments of energy followed by exhaustion for me. Yeah, going up and down, both like physically, emotionally, mentally, and feeling that like, whoa, is it, how am I going to be able to am I going to be able to handle this? And the thing that has been the most important, I also believe, is self-care. Knowing, where your lines are, where your boundaries are, healthy boundaries, of course. Knowing when you need to take care of yourself, when you need to kind of take a step back. When it's all about awareness. I really think we're being brought into an awareness that I don't think collectively we have really fully seen in this way in our lives, at least for me personally. So the other thing that we're coming out of is last week, the week before last week, basically the Sunday, not yesterday, but Sunday before that was the full moon lunar eclipse. And so last week after that eclipse, we had the sun make a conjunction to the south node. We had Mercury make a conjunction to the south node. And then we had the sun and Mercury both make a conjunction together. And whenever the sun and Mercury meet, it is a merging of mind and heart. But with the south node, it's a lot of themes of karma, clearing karma, healing karma, soul contracts, things like that really come up during anything with the south node, but especially during eclipse season, something that would be an eclipse season, which is what we're in right now. So this week, we continue off of that energy. We can still see that the sun, Mercury, and the south node are still together in the stellium. So think of it as a theme that is continuing through the energy. It will culminate at the new moon solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo this weekend, this Sunday. So the flow of events for the week is today we start with a sextile from Venus to Mars, which is aligning like devotion with action, but doing it in a way that you are careful about what you say. You don't just react. You take your time, right? Mars in Libra is you take your time to decide. You don't rush through things. Venus in Leo is what do you truly love? And it's deep into the heart space. So there's a lot also about dropping into our heart this week. And then we get to tomorrow, the 16th, Tuesday, and Venus makes a trine to Chiron in Aries, which brings up the theme of healing, but it's really the invitation to be gentle with yourself, the reminder that there's deeper layers of healing happening and that it all takes time. And so being gentle with yourself and taking care of yourself as you're going through these things that are coming up, these emotional highs and lows, because I feel like we're all going through emotional waves right now, whether we're defined or undefined solar plexus, because everyone's feeling it. So it's the reminder that underlying all of it is powerful healing work. And that is, we need to remember that. That's really important. On this day, at the same time, there is an opposition from Mars to Chiron, which brings that tension, which brings that intensity, which says, you know, this is something that may feel really uncomfortable. Yes, it's worth it. Yes, it's important to me. But it's like, it doesn't take away the uncomfortableness. And because Mars essentially is in detriment in Libra, it doesn't feel at its strongest space. We're learning a deep lesson about being patient right now and not reacting, in the moment, taking our time. And that's a big lesson for a lot of us, especially because we live in a world, very Mars world, very push your way through. And sometimes to sit down and contemplate these themes of who am I? Why am I here? And also how do I, who am I in relationship, and how are relationships showing me right now? The healing that I'm doing personally within myself. That's another big question to ask. Then we get to the 17th, Wednesday. Mercury at 28 is going to make an opposition to Saturn in Pisces, which can bring in a serious energy. Something feels very important. And so it's like you can't play around with this. This whole time, the moon is waning and it's going into its balsamic phase. So a balsamic phase before an eclipse might feel even heavier or darker than a regular balsamic moon, because there's something really powerful on the other side of that. And the overarching theme of Virgo is soul surgery. Because we had a new moon at 0 Virgo, then a full moon eclipse at 15 Virgo, or 15 Pisces, but the sun was at 15 Virgo. And now we're going to have a solar eclipse at 29 Virgo. It's covering the entire spectrum and not leaving anything out. So every piece of the healing is this is detailed soul surgery. Also a powerful time to do things like reflection, recapitulation, soul retrieval. The energy is holding the frequency of that. Also, what I'm starting to notice here is there's a grand trine about to form, because Mercury is also going to enter into Libra and make a trine to Pluto and Uranus. And it's going to be exact and then exactly oppose Neptune. So that's coming while the moon is balsamic. In fact, it exactly happens the day after right here. You can see it. 0, 0, and then 1, 1. So this is pretty much almost an exact grand trine and grand kite. And it's a grand trine in air. And it's the early degrees of air. So I feel like it has the frequency of new ideas coming in, insights because of Uranus as well, higher mind knowing, consciousness, deeper awareness, both of ourselves, but all the collective, but it's consciousness. It's a consciousness awakening. And the opposition to Neptune is confusion. There's a lot of confusion this week. There's a lot of, I literally don't know which way to go. So you need to wait for that clarity to arrive, almost as if you had emotional authority. You wait for the clarity to arrive, and because it arrives in a moment of deep intuition and deep knowing that leaves no doubt in your mind that this is the right choice, or that's what I need to do. Either way, there's a mind activation, and there's stepping into the action of it, finding clarity first and then acting on it. And a lot of it too, because this grand kite is pointing at Neptune and Neptune is retrograde, you may experience this more internally than externally. And then we get to, and of course Mercury enters Libra, and we have that happening right there. And then we go to the 19th, and now the moon is already in Virgo, and it's very much balsamic dark moon right before solar eclipse. Venus does conjunct Regulus, which is the heart of the lion, the royal fixed star at the heart of the lion, and she enters Virgo. And she is in fall position in Virgo. But I think that this is going to be a little push or a little invitation. It's always like an invitation, never like a push, but it's the invitation to be more present, is the invitation to call in being more focused on how my environment affects me. If I go back a couple of degrees, I want to show you something here. So what's really interesting is that the moon and Venus make, look at this. So when the moon gets to 29 Leo, it makes a conjunction to Venus exactly on Regulus. And then you go an hour later and they're still there. And then you go another hour later and they literally both enter Virgo at the same time. That's like a portal, first of all. It can also call us back to the moment of the beginning of the Virgo season. So in a way, it's like it's the reset. There's a little bit of a reset energy, full circle energy. And the fact that this happened exactly at the place where there was a new moon at the beginning of the month, and that this month is very specific in the degrees, I feel like this is definitely important to pay attention to. And then the moon obviously continues moving forward and is now officially getting closer and closer to the eclipse, which happens just a couple of days after. On this day, we also see the exact, let me go back to here, the exact grand trine between Uranus, Pluto, and Mercury, because they're all at exactly 1 degree. So we'll feel the intensity of that, or the heightened energy of that, on Friday. And I feel like it's insight coming in as we enter into the eclipse energy. And then it's funny because you see the sun is also moving, is getting ready to move into a whole new sign, Libra. And that means that what's coming next too is the friggin' equinox. But when we get to the 20th, we see that Venus at 1 degree makes a square to Uranus. And this brings in the tension for change, for that deep change that you're looking for, that needs to happen in ways that sometimes is unexpected, because it has to be that way in order for you to feel like the push to do something about it, you know, to actually heal, to actually become aware, to actually open your eyes to it. Even if it's like, whoa, I did not even think to even think of it in this way. It could be a new perspective. And then this perspective brings you more into the moment. And being in the moment, being really fully present, you get clarity. There's clarity in the moment. And now at this point, we see Venus, the moon, South Node, and the sun in all in Virgo. So now the Virgo stellium is getting stronger. And then we go to the 21st, which is Sunday. And I'm going to move all the way forward because I want to show you the actual eclipse. And it happens at 29 degrees on the 21st, September 21st, which is the traditional celebration of the fall equinox. But the official entering of the fall equinox is when the sun enters zero. So the equinox is actually going to be on the 22nd. But either way, this eclipse is happening in the afternoon, actually. Let's find the exact time real quick. (29 degrees 5 minutes) at like 1 p.m. Pacific. 1, 2, 3, 4 p.m. Eastern. So right like midday, you know, like it's gonna be woo. Quite interesting. It's not visible here, but it's interesting because it feels like it should be visible here with the timing of it. However, that is the last day of Virgo season, the second eclipse, and the completion of the journey of Virgo. So that this week, there's a lot. There's a lot to tune into. There's a lot to just be aware of. I think that we can sometimes get really in our head about everything that's going on, the astrology. And honestly, right now, the thing that is helping the most is, again, just to be like present with yourself and to be gentle with yourself and to like nurture yourself and love yourself and know that this is happening. I know that this is the heavy energy that's currently affecting us, and we have to both be in it but also take care of ourselves at the same time. So hopefully that makes sense. It's hard to find words too. Like the week has been quite interesting, like for myself personally, and there's been a lot of emotional highs and lows, and I've been going through it, you know, myself. So you have to find your own way. You know, you have to find your own way of taking care of yourself. But I would say that also be compassionate and aware that we're all going through it. Everybody's going through it. So you're not the only one experiencing it. And that emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, compassion, all that stuff, they're important things to remember. And yeah, I think dropping into the heart. There's a lot of dropping into the heart, and using that intelligence of the heart to move forward and to make decisions, whatever it is that you need to make. So let us open up the records and channel the reading for us this week. From the deep depths of the cosmic mind, I hear a whisper. This whisper calls us inwards towards our essence. A light begins to glimmer at the center of our heart. This is the light of unity, the all-knowing wisdom of the One. Through this door, we open the gates of the Akashic, the magical flower of life. We see our duality. We recognize our sacred trinity. We begin to witness infinite possibilities as we become the observer and the observed. A powerful and luminescent light engulfs our being, and we feel many dimensions all at once. We enter the Akashic records, protected and loved by all star beings that have accessed these portals before. The records are now open. May wisdom flow, may understanding descend, and may we be blessed with the light of love. All right. Well, thank you, spirit guides, angels, and teachers, for being here with us today. We would like to ask, what is the message for us this week? What do we need to know? What's the most important thing? And our first card is kind of our jumping off point, current energies. Okay, so our first card we get is the Seven of Pentacles. I think that where we're starting, where we're at, is there's I feel a lot of contemplation right now. We're all really thinking, really looking at something, almost like there's an exhaustion too. This card kind of feels a little bit of exhaustion. tired. Like, the question is like, what am I really doing? I think that's the question that's in the collective right now. Like, you know, I've collected this, I've worked really hard, and this is what I've, you know, gathered so far. And essentially this card is all about acknowledging, like, you are making progress. But the way I feel the energy of this right now is that we're tired, and we're all observing and looking at what we've created and manifested in our lives, and asking ourselves if this is like truly what I wanted. If it's truly if I'm truly proud of myself. Like, what does it mean? You know, what's the deeper meaning behind it? And then deeper than that, it would be like, am I really do I feel fulfilled? Is this fulfilling me? Am I fulfilled right now? That's the big question that's showing up in the collective right now. What's the challenge for us this week? What is the challenge for the week? All right. 9 of Wands. This is the card of the wounded healer. This one hits deep. So essentially, the person in this card has gone through so much that there's a little bit of bitterness. There's a little bit of wariness. There's a little bit of like, I don't trust this. I don't trust that. I've gone through a lot, and kind of like, again, exhaustion, tiredness. Both. If you look at both of these cards, and the overarching theme is like they're holding a stick and they're like leaning on it. They're like, oh my God, it's so intense. So I think the challenge for us this week is, it's the recognition. The key is in the recognition that it's okay to not feel okay, first of all. We are all wounded. We are all, you know, we've all had experiences in our lives that have been challenging and difficult. They kind of become enhanced at certain times. It's like poking the wound is not gonna help. The challenge also is to trust your intuition and soften your heart, even in the face of fear, even in the face of whatever it is that's showing up in your life, around you, in your environment. The challenge is, I feel, to not give up. Don't give up. What's the overall theme? It's like we're barely standing. What else can we take? You know? Don't give up. Overall theme, King of Cups. Know your truth. Trust what you feel. Be emotionally intelligent. The overall theme is we're learning to work with, in the realm of emotion, to learn what emotions are, to learn what they're telling us, to learn what they're, you know, saying to us, to trust in our intuition. I think this is the full knowing. This is the full trust. This person does not doubt himself. Don't doubt. Like, no. But if there's still a little bit of doubt, then you're not fully in this. This is also the masculine energy being kind of, there's a merging of the masculine and the feminine energy, right? The yang and the yin, the active and the receptive. So it's a balance between the two. we're learning to balance that. That's the overall theme. What is the wisdom from the ancestors? Ooh, that one flew out. The Empress. This is the card of Venus. This is Venus. This is also Taurus. It's Earth, the Earth. It's about being grounded. It's anchoring yourself. It is also about enjoying life. I think our spirit guides want to remind us that like there is so much to be grateful for. There is so much to be like rooted in. Don't forget to enjoy life. Don't forget to enjoy being here, experiencing this third dimension. All right, let's see what is our animal for the week. We get the crab, which, okay, we're going to read about the crab, but through the lens of astrology, the crab is related to the energy of Cancer, and it's about emotion. But this is what the meaning of the crab is in this deck. It is safe to be vulnerable and let your guard down for those who have earned your trust. When it comes to knowing when to be vulnerable and when to put up your guard, call on crab. Discernment goes a long way in understanding the subtle undertones of human words and behaviors. Be observant of those around you and look for the signs that will indicate who is trustworthy and who is not. Know that you are always safe and protected, and you have the choice to let others into your world or keep them out. Learn how to set boundaries and say no when it is not safe or appropriate. Know when to let your guard down and reveal your vulnerability to those who have earned your trust. This will enable you to strengthen your relationships and go even deeper. Remember, crab moves sideways and is a reminder that sometimes a change in direction is necessary to get where you need to go. Very interesting message. Crab is also about emotions and feelings. So, vulnerability, teaching us about true vulnerability. And again, that energy of like self-care and knowing yourself and trusting in your own intuition. So to recap, we have current energy, this, contemplative, reflective, like, am I fulfilled right now? Like something in the air is making all of us, really look deep at ourselves. The challenge is to not give up, even though sometimes it's like, I'm done. This is too much. Don't give up. We're all learning to love. We're all learning to begin again. We're all learning to heal. We're all healing together. And we're not alone. So just the challenge is remember we're not alone. The overall theme is to trust your intuition and to move from a place of emotional intelligence, emotional maturity. Our spirit guides want to remind us to enjoy and to have gratitude. And the crab is teaching us that this week is a week to be vulnerable, to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, but in a safe way. In a safe space. And maybe a change in direction might be something that is necessary for you. And also I'm getting like, don't be so protective of yourself. Like, it's okay to feel, and it's okay to be present with your emotions. It's okay to talk about it. Like, things flow. Just because you feel a certain way, it's not going to last forever. Emotions never do. So you keep moving. You keep, it's the ocean, right? You keep flowing. But there is a bit of like, definitely know the right places. The places where it will be safe to be vulnerable, but I think we're being called to be more, we're like just being, it's like heart. I feel like the heart opening, like boom, the heart just opened. And I was like, whoa, we're all like, ah. At first it feels like it's too much, but then we ground ourselves into our inner knowing and our intuition, and we find the clarity. So definitely somber, definitely a lot going on. Definitely take care of yourself. I'm going to close the records. From the deepest depths of our soul, we give gratitude and love, for we understand we are a fractal of that cosmic whole. As we give, so we get, open to all possibilities through all time and space. We walk through the Akashic portal back to our inner space, remembering that this wisdom lives within every cell of our being. Thank you, star beings, for holding this sacred space and for protecting us during this journey through time and space. The records are now closed. Well, I want to thank you guys for, again, being a part of this community. Come join us in the Sacred Coordinates, the Map class. Be gentle with yourself this week. Know that it's tender. We're in a tender space. But we're learning through that tenderness to be strong. We're all in this together. It's powerful time. It's a powerful time. Don't forget, we're in eclipse season and we're moving towards another eclipse on Sunday. So here we go. Thank you so much, you guys. I will see you all again tomorrow in our Sacred Coordinates class to cover all about devotion. And I can't wait we're going to do something really special at the end. I think you guys are going to freaking love it, to help you feel that devotion in your heart, to drop into your heart. So I'll see you guys there. Have an amazing week. Good luck with the eclipse. And I'll be back to talk about the eclipse energies closer to the end of the week, so we can understand through the astrology lens, through the gene key lens, and through the human design lens what this eclipse means for us. Sat Nam, and I'll see you all again very soon.